How long would it take you to move 500 keys?
We would try to do it. We would try to do it in a month.
Yeah.
Within a month.
Okay.
It depends because some people I know will come and want to buy straight up 40 keys at one time. Wow. So, boom, that's a sale. Mm-hmm. And you don't make crazy profit on that. Yeah. So if you if you sold it for 20 something and the key was going for 10, you paid off some of the keys you got left over. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I used to do. I never spent that money. If I had, if the bill, like going to buy a car, if your bill's $500,000, say your bill's $500,000, but you selling extra prices on everything. So when you get to $500,000, you don't clear your bill. So now everything else is profit. Mm-hmm. So all your keys you got left over, you push that out there, that's all yours. Yeah. So if anything go wrong, you ain't got to worry about nothing. But you got to get that bill money first.
And did you work with the same Colombian suppliers the whole time, or did you actually make other connects?
No, I had other connects too. I had some people in the Bahamas. It's different. I dealt with some Italians. It depends on, who's going to come with you with the right price. Now the main connect I had, he said he'll never have a drought. He'll never be empty. And he was empty. And that's how I caught this case when I got the 25 years. Because I had to gamble. Mm-hmm. And I thought these people were selling drugs, but they was federal agents. So what happened was, and this was Madonna's friend Arlene Brickman that set me up, but Madonna was involved in that whole thing. So I'm thinking I'm getting the keys and they're giving me, and I'm so stupid, and I see, when you can admit your stupidness, then you're a real person. Like, you got people in denial. I was real stupid because how can I be getting these good prices in this drought? So when I went in and I started doing this 20-some years, I was like, I need to kick myself in the ass. And I used to tell my friends while we talking and I was like, yeah, Shue, you should have never fell for that. But they was giving me a good price and it was never no drugs because it's the feds. Right. So I showed up with my money because I said, well, let me test this out because I don't know, I never dealt with y'all before. So I'm bringing 120,000 to y'all. And I brought them 120,000.
Now, who were these people supposed to be?
Drug dealers.
Right. Who were they though? Were they supposed to be guys from New York? Were they Colombians? Were they?
Italians.
They were Italians.
Supposed to be. Supposed to be. So that's how... The story. You want to hear the story? How I got
Sure. But since that's kind of how you took your fall, I guess let's talk about the parties because that's when you guys were at your height in the early 90s, right?
Yeah. 89 we started.
Yeah. And how long did it take you to build up to this like multi-million-dollar organization? You got there pretty quick.
That's easy. With the parties or with
with the drugs?
Oh, the drugs was that first year.
Overnight, right?
That first year we was rolling.
And so parties became a way for you guys, one of the ways for you guys to wash some of your money.
Yes.
So tell us about, you throw your first birthday party for you. You just planned on being a one-off, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was a smash. So you kept going. So yeah, tell us about this like party promoting business.
Well, I didn't do it as a business. I just wanted to let my people enjoy themselves because they was working hard and they, you from New York, your family's in New York. Now you in Kabuka somewhere selling drugs. You don't get to see your family that much and your kids. So I said, but listen, is either that or you don't get no money. Mm-hmm. Now you get money, you getting $7,000, $8,000, and you can just send home money every week and your families, went from rags to riches, So what you do is on you. So they, like again, allowing them when they stay with me, than to go and get this crazy money. And I was like, yo, your dudes is crazy, man. Because I said, listen, I got a new state. I said, one of y'all can take it. I'll split 50-50 with y'all. Nobody raised their hand. Nobody wanted it. I was like, yo, what is wrong with you?
Where was it?
I would have.
Where was it? What state?
Baltimore. I said, yo, I'll. This is the beginning. I said, I would have been like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you rather stay here and get $5,000 to $7,000 a week where you could get 50% cut on everything we doing because that you controlling that state? I couldn't believe that. But these dudes want to hang out with me so much, man. You know, and I appreciate the love because that just shows you that they really love me as a brother. But okay. You should have went and checked it when I did the 25 years, so you could have been with me.
Yeah, right.
You should have just committed a crime. I used to joke with them about that. You should have just did a crime just to come in there with me, since you want to hang out with me all the time. But you know, so I do that one party, and then, hey, you know, it's always a wise guy. Let's do it once a month. Oh yeah, Billy. I said, that's what you're trying to do now. Yeah, because everybody else's birthday's coming up, and you know, we know you want us to finish everything before a party. So if we finish everything, will you let us have the party, throw the parties? So I started laughing. I said, all right, we're gonna do it. So because we had such a good time at that first party, it's like it was a black tie affair.
What do you guys have it?
Omni Hotel.
Okay.
It's on 55th Street, I think, and 7th Avenue, if I remember. But like, we're talking years ago. But it was so, I had parties everywhere. But what made this party so, it was the first one. Everybody was, I gave out money for the best dressed female, the best dressed couple, the best legs, you know. BBLs wasn't really out there then, so it was natural bodies, but girls still had crazy nice legs. So we have a leg contest and stuff like that. So, you know, I was just giving out free money to all this stuff, and we had the best DJs. We had everybody just looked so good. And you know, that was my goal. If I was gonna throw a party, I wanted to go back to them TV shows.
Saturday Night Fever?
No, the TV shows, not the movies. Dynasty.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Dynasty, Knots Landing, and Dallas. You know, remember when they had parties? They'd be dressed up. They'd be at I wanted to show that we could do that.
Right.
So my parties used to be based to have people come looking good. So you see people looking so, you know, I got a couple of videotapes somewhere, but the feds took most of our videotapes from the parties when they broke into my apartments. I had different apartments all over the place. They took Rolexes, Minks, everything, you know. So it was never there.
Okay, so how did the parties become more of like, you go from just being one-offs to actually like money laundering schemes? Were you charging people to get in?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
So please go into that.
We charge people to get in, and we charge, you know, but basically, I didn't care about the money coming in. I just wanted to have fun and wash out money. And like,
so did you have holding companies? Like when you were getting back those checks, you know, if you charge, obviously when you're washing money, you're going to lose some. That's the tax that all drug dealers pay.
I was getting ready to incorporate myself and everything, but when I got locked up, I'm getting ready to quit the game.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to do that. And that's what they say. When you get ready to get out, that's when you either get killed or you go to jail.
For sure.
And that's what happens. They always say that it's like a jinx.